President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the 2018 appropriation bill into law. The president assented to the bill on Wednesday at the presidential villa in Abuja, the Nigerian capital. In his remarks, President Buhari thanked the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives and all lawmakers for passing the 2018 appropriation bill. He, however, noted that he is determined to continue working with the National Assembly to improve the budgeting process and restoring Nigeria to the January to December fiscal cycle.
It is in this regard that I am concerned about some of the changes that the National Assembly has made to the budget proposals that I presented. The logic behind the constitutional direction that budgets should be proposed by the executive is that it is the executive that knows and defines the policies and projects. Unfortunately, that has not been given much regard in what has been sent to me. The National Assembly made cuts amounting to 347 billion naira in the allocation to 4,700 projects submitted to them for consideration and introduced 6,403 projects of their own amounting to 578 billion naira. Many of the projects cut are critical and may be difficult, if not impossible, to implement. With the reduced allocation, some of the new projects inserted by the National Assembly have not been properly conceptualized, designed, and costed, and will therefore be difficult to execute.
President Buhari has submitted a budget proposal of 8.6 trillion naira to the National Assembly on November 7, 2017. The lawmakers, however, increased the proposal by 508 billion naira, making a total of 9.1 trillion when they passed the appropriation bill on May 16 this year.
We are not worried in the sense that, you see, in Parliament, the job of parliamentarians is a very difficult one. The way the budget came, if we have allowed it to go that way, we will have been in trouble with those who elected us into office. You have to balance between the 6 geopolitical zones. So it's the balancing effort by the National Assembly that led to those observations. And happily enough, he himself has said he's coming with a supplementary appropriation, which will be dealt with as quickly as possible. I assure you about that one.
We can only consider and pass.
Okay,
and based on the processes we face as an institution, certainly you wouldn't expect us to just rubber stamp a budget and just bring it back. We have to do the nitty-gritties of budget considerations. That is, it was not too long, my sister. We don't look at it as too long. Whatever is worth doing should be done very well. And we have done the right thing we think we should do to deliver on the expectation and the mandate bestowed on us by the people of our constituencies. We have no regret about it.
The president signed the budget in company of the Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, as well as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kari. Some of the ministers who witnessed the signing are Senator Udo Doma, Lai Mohammed, and Kemi Adeosun. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
The Nigerian Air Force has commenced area bombardment in a joint military offensive to end banditry in Zamfara State. The commander of the 207 Quick Response Group of the Air Force, Group Captain Caleb Olayera, disclosed this while speaking with newsmen in Gusau, Zamfara State capital. He spoke after taking delivery of 2 airplanes deployed for the operation. Olayera described the operation as part of a joint military operation involving the Air Force, Army, police, and civil defense to flush out bandits. Zamfara State has seen intense banditry in recent time that have left hundreds dead and displaced thousands in various communities. Olayera said that the 2 helipad had already been constructed by Air Force for the Zamfara state security operation. He assured that the peace will soon return to the troubled community in Zamfara with the commencement of the military operation. Zamfara State Governor Yari Abdulaziz, in an apparent frustration over the banditry in the state, recently denounced his position as the chief security officer of the state. He cited his inability to take charge of security agencies in the state to end banditry. Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu said more than 24 hectares of land has been cleared and a lot of seedling ready as President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to flag off the State Cocoa Revolution project in July. Akeredolu said at a meeting with the management of African Development Bank in his office that Nigeria was trying to regain a glory in cocoa production. According to him, Nigeria has fallen short of its cocoa production capacity, hereby allowing countries like Ghana, Ivory Coast overtake her in production of cocoa. The governor also said that the state government was committed to making the state the hub of cocoa production in West Africa one more time. Earlier, the leader of the team, the senior director of the African Development Bank, Ebrima Fa, acknowledged the visit of the governor to the country field office in Abuja last year and said the team was in the state to engage officials in order to see completed an ongoing project and identify area of collaboration.
A housing expert, Barrister Festus Adebayo, has appealed to the federal government to show commitment and exercise strong political will in ensuring speedy growth in the housing sector. Adebayo, who made the appeal in Abuja during an exclusive interview with Pen Television, maintained that lack of access to land is one of the key barriers to the development of housing in the country.
And in some areas, we are still waiting for government to act on them, especially the need for government to have a political will to do some things. As you might have observed, again, Nigeria has at today, our mortgage system is still operating at a double digit. This is a barrier. As at today, the Land Use Act is still there, of 1978. We give the law which allowed the governors to be in charge of the land in this country. This also has become a barrier. Access to land. It's a strong barrier. With the access to land, we can address the problem of mortgage and foreclosure law. We don't have foreclosure law in our country. So in essence, I can say that we don't even have enough law that we assist an effective housing delivery in Nigeria. And this is what we are still looking into. And that will be our major focus. Again, for another time, from 14th to 19th of July in Nigeria at the International Conference Center, when Abuja Housing Show will be parading an array of dignitaries, VIPs, very important personalities from all over the world to look into it again. How do we address the problem of housing deficit in Nigeria, a country that has the highest population in Africa?
Adebayo, who is also the convener of the annual Abuja International Housing Show, urged the government to look into barriers facing the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and ensure that necessary support was given to the bank because it is the only bank in the country that could give loan at one-digit interest rate.
Abuja International Housing Show is working with the National Assembly Committee on housing for the passing into law of the bill on social housing. But on social housing. When we talk of the bill on social housing, meaning that we make government to begin to think of catering for people who does not have the capacity to who cannot afford to build a house for themselves. Our thinking is, if we have 0.001% of the Nigerian budget going into social housing, it means a lot. In some other country, they call it subsidized housing. So if you don't call it social housing, you call it subsidized housing. We are saying government should be interested. Recently, I read it in the newspaper that Dangote is providing 200 units of houses in Maiduguri for those people that were displaced during the Boko Haram war. That is what we are talking about.
He noted that his organization is working with the National Assembly to ensure that a better law is passed that will see that Nigerians have an affordable houses. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Italian ambassador to Nigeria, Stefano Potesi, had dismissed report that Italy sometimes sends some migrants, including Nigerians, to sea route back to Libya. The ambassador told newsmen in Abuja that though thousands of Nigerian migrants were trapped in Libya, those who made the perilous journey to Italy were never sent back to North African country. According to him, some Nigeria are stuck in Libya because they were never able to cross to Libya. But all those who went to Italy, not even one was sent back. He said the Italian government has been doing so much on migration by saving thousands of lives, including that of Nigerians during the Mediterranean crossing. The envoy also disclosed that about 1,500 Nigerians are serving various jail terms in Italy. The ambassador commended the strong bilateral relation between Nigeria and Italy, saying the stability and security of Nigeria is their foremost consideration. He said Italian government have been providing security assistance to Nigeria, including training of Nigerian security officers.